Hello traders, this is Plamen from Sight Forex, and this is our weekly forecast for some of the most traded currency pairs on the market. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, the first currency pair is Euro-Dollar. First, let's see what we have expected from the last week. Here you can see we expected the price to make a retracement from this daily trend line, and let me just go to a daily time frame. And as you can see with this candle over here, the price reaches the daily trend line and makes a pushback very strongly, very strong down movement. And again, the price reaches the daily trend line and push back again. What we expect for the next week, let me just delete this daily trend line because it's crossed and tested and we don't need it anymore. Okay, as you can see on a daily time frame, here we have a huge impulse wave and the price reaches the 50% level of Fibonacci. What we expect for the next week, we expect the price to push back, to retrace from this trend line and to reach the parity again. From here we expect a retracement, or we can see this is the parity 1.00 on 4-hour time frame. Here we can see a clear range of the price for a very long time, 3 weeks maybe. And here the price is making something like a triangle pattern. What are the options here? If the price breaks this trend line, we expect a test and a new up movement. If the price breaks this trend line here, we expect test and we expect the price to go to the parity. As you can see, this impulse wave is almost like from here to the parity. And on a lower time frame, on 1-hour time frame, here we have very good supply zone, and here we expect the price to reach this supply zone and somewhere here to make a retracement from the zone and to go back to the parity. This trade is with a very huge risk-reward ratio, 1:17, and this is not an advice, this is our thought. We think the price will do this way, but if not, if the price breaks this trend line, this triangle, we expect to go to the monthly level, to the 1.03565. Okay, now let's move to the pound dollar. Okay guys, this is pound dollar. First, let's see what we expected the last week from this strong upward movement. The price break out the daily trend line and the weekly trend line, and now we can see that the price we've expected to make a retracement to the level 50 of Fibonacci and to make a new upward movement. Let's see. Here is the price, and this is what happened. The price made a retracement to the 50% of Fibonacci and to the weekly level 1.200. And what we expect for the next week. As you can see, here is the trend reversal pattern, head and shoulders, a small one. But when you take a closer look, here you can see we have a much larger head and shoulders. This is on daily time frame. What to expect the next week? Well, first you can see a new upward movement that breaks this weekly trend line and a retracement to the daily trend line. And this way you can see one, second, third point on the trend line, and from here you can see another upward movement because the price is at a very low point on the charts. On a daily time frame we don't have a candlestick formation, so nothing tells us that we must buy from here. Another thing that can happen is the price, if it goes downwards, to break the weekly level, to test it and make a new downward movement. Something like that. On a 4-hour time frame, we can see that the price has made a lower low from the previous low and testing the trend line. On 1-hour time frame, we can see that the price has reached the supply zone over here. You can see here is the very big imbalance, and the price comes back to fill it, and from here we have another trade with very high risk reward ratio, and from here we expect the price to test the trend line and to make new bullish movement, as we can see on the higher time frames. This is for pound dollar. This is our opinion. Now let's move to the next currency pair. This is Euro JPY. This is the analysis from the last week. From here there is the impulse wave, and from this level over here we expected a retracement to the trend line. This is the 4-hour trend line, and let's see what happened to the price. Well, there is the retracement. Now what we expect for the next week. First, let's take a look on the daily time frame. Here we can see the impulse wave, the very strong impulse wave, and here is the retracement that reaches the 50% level of Fibonacci. From here we expect a new down movement on a daily time frame. Of course, if there is the candlestick formation. On a 4-hour time frame, what we can see? There is two options here. We can see that the price has made a third point on the trend line. There is the first, the second, and the third point. And from here we have another ascending trend line. And here we can expect a third point as well. So what are the options? The first option is, if the price makes a third point and push back from this trend line over here with the candlestick formation, we can expect new bullish movement. Something like that. Probably to this daily trend line. If the price breaks this trend line and make a test, probably with a fourth point on the trend line, we can expect the bearish movement. From where? Well, probably from the 61.8% of Fibonacci. These are the two options for Euro JPY, and we will trade what we see, not what we think is gonna happen. Okay, now let's move to pound JPY. First, this is from the last week. Here you can see we've expected the price to break this trend line, to come back to test it, and to make a new impulse wave. The impulse wave to the daily level. As you can see, the price made the impulse wave. Here is the test. This test reaches the 61.8% of Fibonacci. This is the retracement. And on 4-hour time frame, here we have, you can see the impulse wave, the retracement. And this is our candlestick formation that we expected to confirm our new bearish movement. Here you can see that graystone doji. It confirms our sell orders. And from here we have one very good trade. With very high risk-reward ratio. Here our stop loss is 33 pips. And the profit is to the Brexit level. This way, this trade is 1:11 risk-reward ratio. What can happen if the price breaks this high over here? First, to make a third point on this 4-hour trend line and to go up, something like this. Here, with a candlestick formation, we can expect a new bullish movement. Now let's move to the gold. Okay guys, this is the analysis from the last week. Here we expected the price to make a third point on the trend line, this ascending trend line. And here you can see there is the third point on the trend line. From here we have a new bullish movement and a fourth point on the trend line. But on this point on the trend line there is no candlestick formation that tells us to buy. But nevertheless we expect the new bullish movement of the price. Something to the minus 27.2 on the Fibonacci. And this is somewhere near this supply zone over here. This is our analysis for the next week. This is on 4-hour time frame. On a daily time frame, we can see that the price has crossed the weekly trend line and come back to test it. Another thing that can happen here, if the price from here make a new lower low than the previous one, then it can make something like this to make a new strong down movement, to come here to test it, and a new bearish movement. If it breaks this level over here, it will be our swing level, and it can come back to test it and make a new bearish movement. But for now everything is for buy orders, probably to this supply zone over here. Okay guys, this is our analysis for the next week. I hope you like this video. If you do, hit the like button, share this video with a friend, and subscribe for our channel. This way you can make our videos to be more useful and you help the channel to grow up. See you next week guys. Bye bye.